Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jupiter James and this is Astro Motivation, where I awaken the astrologer within you and aim to give you a little inspiration and motivation per your unique placement within your birth chart. You know, I really do feel that before a time of technology, we were a people, a culture, a society that were better able to look up at the stars and understand exactly where our dreams were and how to get them. And so if that sounds good to you, let's get into it. Today we're gonna get into a very cool topic that as an astrologer and as people who are interested in astrology are really caught up on. You know, everyone is always weighing in on which system is the best, you know, which system is the most accurate, which one gives the most detail, which one is the most predictive within astrology. And I just wanted to weigh in on what I use as an astrologer. So first and foremost, I am a Western tropical astrologer and I use sidereal and Vedic influences. You know, here and there, if I want to know about certain things, if I want to dibble and dabble and get more information, I may go into the Vedic realm, you know, but I usually stick and use Western principles and Western systems, okay? And so for me, what I did to learn astrology, I always say that, you know, whole signs and Placidus, the whole house systems, they have different values, right? They have different ways in which they are very useful. And so for me, a big way of how I learned astrology for a beginner, right, when I was a beginner, was to go the whole house system route, okay? I really recommend anyone out there that is trying to get into astrology or just simply understand astrology to go the whole sign system route. Don't go the Placidus route, because the principles that you would need to learn, the building blocks that you need to learn in order to grasp Placidus would probably throw you off or make things a little bit too complicated. You know, I always say, like, Placidus is like algebra, right? And whole sign systems is like, you know, the building blocks. It's multiplication, it's adding, subtracting, it's those things. It's a more simpler system for anyone who is trying to learn astrology and really grasp what astrology is all about and simply on your own figure out what's going on for yourself. I would say go the whole house system route, okay? Because for me, that is how I learned astrology. And after I got astrology through the whole house system, it was then that I was able to grasp what the Placidus chart was trying to show me or could show me, okay? And so that is one thing that I would say about whole sign systems versus, or whole house systems versus Placidus, okay? Is that one is gonna be a little bit more detailed and one is a little bit more of an advanced system. You know, whole house systems it's very simple, it's easy to read, it's easy to grasp, and I'd say it's just as accurate as Placidus, you know, but it gives you a more general and a more over-encompassing articulation or interpretation of the person as a whole. You know, if you want to know someone, you look at whole sign systems and you will get the overall picture of who the person is, where their lessons are, and you will find it's a little bit more broad, right? It doesn't mean wrong, it just means broad, right? It gives you the entire picture as a whole, right? From a little bit more of a zoomed out lens. That's what the whole house system will give you. It's the more zoomed out lens of what a person will be going through in their life, their personality, their lessons, you know, their love life, yada, 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 whatever you want to look for within their astrology chart, right? Whereas Placidus is going to be more of like a zoomed in picture, okay? It's going to show you the intricacies and the conglomeration and the combination of the energies that is interworking in a person's personality, their life, their soul, you know, because we are not just a Leo rising, right? We are not just a Cancer moon in the 4th house. I mean, we are, but are we a little bit of, you know, some Leo in there? Are we a little bit of some Scorpio in there? You see what I mean? So it's gonna give you those zoomed in essences of, sure, you may be a Leo rising, but maybe you have Virgo influences. You see what I mean? And that picture in itself is gonna let you know when you are reading a chart that, oh yes, I am a Leo moon, but I also have Virgo tendencies, or there are Virgoic lessons that I'm dealing with. If you have Leo and you have within a Placidus chart and you see that a sign is sharing both houses, you will then interpret your Leo moon and you will say, oh, well, that's the reason why I'm so hard on myself, and the reason why I want to use my great caring personality to serve people. You see what I mean? Like, yes, you still are a Leo moon in the whole sign system, and you are a Leo moon, but the Placidus chart will just give you that more detail. It's a zoomed in picture for what is really going on within a person's soul. And so that's my take on the whole sign system, the whole house sign system versus Placidus, okay? They are both very useful, but one is just a more zoomed in picture and a more advanced technique. And I would suggest using that advanced technique when you grasp the whole house systems, okay? When you use whole house systems, I want you to, if you are a beginner, if you are out there learning, I want you to just focus on that. Just focus on that until you feel that you can take on another layer, okay? When you can take on another layer and a little bit more of a bigger concept or complication, or you want to add more into your interpretations, that's when you move to Placidus. I also use whole sign systems for me. I also use whole sign systems when I am looking through transits, when I am looking at perfection charts, when I am looking at lunar solar progressions. I look at that, you know, a lunar progression or a lunar year, things like that. I look for those things. Now, I've always been accurate in my readings, and I think that is because I take all things into consideration. I am not someone that just uses Placidus. I'm not someone that just uses tropical Placidus. I am not someone that just takes whole sign systems and all those things. No, I truly believe that the universe is so big and so vast that all things are true, okay? That when we get the information from our whole signs, when we get the information from our Placidus chart, when we get the information from our Vedic chart, that all these things are to be considered because the luminaries, the planets are so big. Listen to me, the planets are so big. How do you expect for one planet to sit in one house? I'll wait. How? No, I really believe that the planets are so big that it can be in a general area. You see what I mean? I've seen charts where someone could have Sun in the 8th house and Sun in the 9th house, right? Am I gonna pick and choose which one is correct? No, I am gonna interpret that both are correct, okay? Both are playing out in this person's life because, like I said, the planets, the sun is so big that it's hovering in that person's general area. So this person will be someone that is very, very philosophical and able to see into the to the depths of people, into the depths of situations, and from that is able to then be a teacher, be someone that cultivates their own personality, and also be able to thrive and teach people in faraway lands. You see what I mean? So these things are to all be considered, okay? Don't just take one aspect or one house or one system or one philosophy of teaching and say, oh, that should be the correct one. In my eyes, they're all true. They're all true because the planets are just so big and there's no way to pigeonhole a big luminary like that into one part of your chart or one aspect or one sign. They are all true. And so when I'm doing readings, you should see me while I do my readings. I am someone that I've got the whole sign chart, I've got the Placidus chart, I got the Vedic chart, I got this chart, and I'm literally pulling my analysis from each. You know, I'm mixing and matching the analysis of each because think about it. The planets are big and so are and complex, and so are you. You aren't gonna be someone when you're out on a date, right? And someone tries to pigeonhole you into something, you would be offended. You would be like, wait, no, like, yes, I told you that I like chicken, But that's not all I like. I also like fish. I also like tacos. I also like sushi. You see what I mean? So it's like, you are complex and so is the universe, and you should be able to consider all things. These are tools for us to be able to see where generally our energy is going, okay? And usually if you take all of the things that are to be considered through each sign, through each system, you will see that that it's true, because it is the complexities that we live in. It is in the complexities and the mixtures and combos of all of these things that create a very true prediction of who we are, okay? And when you get really skilled, when you get really skilled, you will find, you know, I am someone that I like to stick to my Placidus charts. I really do. But when I go back to my whole sign charts, I find that the whole sign, the whole house system chart still will refer back to each other. You know, the charts will say the same thing, just perhaps in different areas. When you get very skilled, you will find that all charts are saying the same thing, but they're just putting it in a different area or interpreting it in a different way, but the result is the same. A lot like math. You ever do math in high school or in school and they don't give you the answer, but the answer is in the back of the book, right? But that's not what the teacher is asking you for. The teacher isn't asking you for the answer. They want to see how you got that answer, because math is a language that, to the person that is solving the problem, as long as you get that answer in the back of the book, it's still true. You see what I mean? So astrology is the same way, is that you'll start to see when you become very advanced, and something I've noticed is that the charts will say the same thing. When you really know your sky, when you really know your placements, when you really know it, you'll say, wow, okay, the whole sign system chart is saying the same thing that this Placidus chart is saying. It's just saying it in a different way or in a different area. For example, let me give you an example. So say you are a Cancer rising, right? And you have in your whole sign systems chart, you have Cancer rising, your ascendant, in the first house, okay? So you may have in that first house, in your whole sign system house, Cancer rising, and you have Moon in that first house, all right? So that means that your first house lord of Moon is in Cancer rising, okay? You have Moon in the first house in Cancer rising, which means your first house lord is in the first house, okay? And this is in the whole sign system chart, okay? I'm giving you this really good example of how everything, it will say the same thing. Now, with that interpretation of the first house lord being in the first house in Cancer rising, this will show that this person will be someone that gets a lot of attention from their caring nature. When they go out and about, they are going to be someone that people notice them because of their emotional personality, and a lot of attention will be on this person because their first house lord is in the first house, which means that their personality is magnified, which means that their personality is something that people will see irregardless if they want it or not. They will get a lot of attention because their first house lord is in the first house. You see? And that is in the whole sign system, okay? Now, if we switch that configuration within our birth chart to Placidus, let's say we go, okay, let's see what the Placidus chart is saying about me. And you see your chart, you go, wait, hold on. In this chart, it says I'm a Leo moon in the first house, and my Cancer rising just went to the 12th house. What gives? What's that about? I don't understand. I thought I was a moon in the first house. What gives? When you have Leo in the first house, what does that give that person? It will give that person, it will say, this person, when he or she goes out, gets a lot of attention by way of their personality, by way of who they are. Do you see how the chart will say and speak the same language, just in a different way? The result is the same. The interpretation is the same, but the way the house systems will interpret it will just be in a different fashion, okay? So that is my take on the whole sign or whole house systems versus Placidus and what I use. I use all of it. I prefer Placidus chart because it gives you a little bit more detail, but I would prefer that if you are a beginner to use your whole house systems until you grasp the concepts of astrology, and through you grasping that, you will be able to better read your Placidus chart, okay? But I personally believe all things are to be considered, all things are correct, and all things are valid, all right? I really do hope that this helped you, and I will see y'all on the next video, okay? Bye.